The 1.18.30 update is rolling out right now across all Bedrock platforms. This update has been paired up with the 1.18.20 update in order to make one singular update, and while there are plenty of fixes and changes and things like that, there's also plenty of different types of parity changes, and one of the biggest parity changes, which I think tons and tons of people, myself included, is going to really enjoy, is the fact that now we have the 64 seed bit generator, meaning instead of having around about 4 billion seeds, we now have about 18 quintillion seeds. Take the seed I'm on right now. Before the update, this wouldn't be possible, but yeah, now as of this one update being released, that now is physically possible. Another parity change, which is almost very welcome, is the fact that eating now much more closely resembles the Java eating. So instead of you having to eat like almost constantly all the time, you should have to eat quite a decent amount less now. Like, this is maybe my third lap or something like that around this one village, and only now am I having to start to eat. Speaking of being hungry, I bet you're hungry for this next parity change, and being that shulkers now have a chance at actually duplicating themselves if they actually get hit by a shulker bullet. Which I mentioned this by the time this one change was actually released inside of previews, but really good timing on Minecraft, like shortly after I released my 10,000 shulker shell video. And there's a ton of other parity changes, such as mob effects, or health, or something like that, but generally speaking, I think these are some of the most exciting things inside this update. That is, if we didn't have the experimental toggle generation, because if you do enable it, then you actually get quite a decent number of wild update features. One of which being this behemoth of a structure, the ancient city, along with the warden that actually inhabits it. And you also get the sculk block, the vein, the catalyst, the sensor, and everything else like that. As well as that, the experimental toggle also happens to have the allay enabled inside of it too. So in case you want to experiment with unfinished features, then yeah, just enable the experimental toggle and experiments with your allays, with your wardens, and things like that. Though I would recommend not doing it on a world that you actually care about, because again, these things are experimental. You have no idea if they are, you have no idea whether they are bug fix free or not, so just keep that in mind when you enable it to specific worlds. And on top of that, we're also getting the ability of having the bow chest inside the experimental toggle, as well as one of Minecraft's most requested game modes for Bedrock Edition, Game Mode 6, otherwise known as the spectator mode, where you can actually float around blocks and, you know, do all this sorts of crazy stuff. And while this isn't every single thing to expect inside the changelog, this is the main and most exciting things I found, so let me know what you think of this update down below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.